Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a brand new season of the North Sports Dynasty. Woo! Horns, and fireworks, and signs and shit. We're back for a brand new season of madness, of NSD, of apparently yelling at you first thing in the freaking morning, too. I'm sorry. I'm breaking all the new things. I want to break the brand new whiteboard. And I'm breaking the microphone, which, just to let you guys know, this one might actually get retired here soon. Ooh. Anyways, hi. Welcome back. Good morning. Good early afternoon, depending on what side of the country you're on. Good evening to our Japanese fellow fans out there. Konnichiwa. And hiya. Let's get into it. First things first, everybody, I need you to do me a couple of things. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button on North Sports Dynasty every time you see the logo, which is this thing here somewhere. I don't know where the hell. What the heck? Not the banners. Come on. It's the first show back. I'd like to get a little bit. Oh my God. Where the hell? That thing. Boom. Fuck. That's not where I wanted it. How about what if we did something like, boom! Aha! That's right. Wherever you see that logo, I mean, you can't really see me pointing at it right now, but wherever you see North Sports Dynasty with the blue and the pink, and the one that anyway, you know what to do. You hit the like button, you hit the subscribe button. You can share it with your friends. You can tell them that you got a friend like me. You got a friend like me. That's right, Disney. Don't do it. Yeah. Also, we are doing another giveaway this year. I am. We, as in me, as in the whole comminglement of figuring it out in my head, people have decided we're doing another giveaway. And the only hint I can actually give you, because there's going to be a couple like little ones and stuff like that. There's going to be a nice, decent one to start off the season. And I'm just going to tell you right now that you need to pay attention to the group, the North Sports Dynasty group, and what is posted in there every day. You need to keep an eye on that, or two visors on that. You're probably wondering the sunglasses. I'm wondering why I'm wearing these too. They're dirty already. I can barely see out of them. I'm probably going to hit something I shouldn't. But let's first thank everybody who is in the comment section. Scott says first. And not only does Scott say first, I appreciate Scott for saying first. Did you all know? That coffee tastes really good in the morning. Really nice mug, too. I got this for Father's Day. Did you know that the first person, not in the internet, but the first person to start the whole first thing on people's shows first was me? That was my thing 2 seasons ago. I made it a point. I had notifications set on everybody's shows. So when they popped up on my phone, I would go in there first. And you would see like 7 other comments right after it of people trying to go first. And they're like, damn, Andrew. It's probably not the name that they called me, and that's totally okay as well. But I want to thank Scott for being here first. You are the new first comment of the season for season 5. That's where we're at right now. We've done this now for 5 seasons. And we're starting in the middle of July. Why? Because I got a lot of things I want to talk about. And there's also a brand new format to the show as well. The way that the show goes now is you are going to see it play like this, like how I normally do, where I'm interacting with the people who are watching live, but then also randomly, you're going to see me like kind of talk to myself, kind of like we're doing like a live Twitch stream. And the reason for this is so that I can actually clip some of these and now use them for other videos. And I've learned to do this now by taking a little bit of time and, reading the internet and learning that it's not always about the way that you think it is, Mr. Gingy Poo. No. Sometimes it's about what everybody else wants. And sometimes the younger audience, and sometimes the older audience now too, they don't like long shows. They're like, Andrew, I see you got a lot of things that you want to talk about today. Why the fuck are we 8 minutes and 35 seconds into the show and we haven't talked about a single one? That's a very good point. And that's what we're going to start doing. We're going to clip these so that we can take this show right here and we can turn it into different things. Make little clips. So that if you liked what you saw during the segment, you can actually take that clip, send it to your friend, send it to your page, to your group, whatever. And you can make fun of me there out in the open, like everybody should be doing. So Scott gets the first star of the year, first comment. How's the weather up there? Weather up here is ridiculously hot. Gingy doesn't like it anymore. If we're going to have this kind of weather, I might as well go down south. This is getting freaking ridiculous. What was it? How much helium did you inhale? None of it! I inhale no helium. But I do inhale possible legal activities in Canada. Possibly. Kali Ace is here. Kali Ace is also going to be in many different places. And what do we got here? Like 2 weeks, buddy. 2 weeks, buddy. And then we're going to go dancing. And then we go dancing. And the Daddy Mouse and T'Challa and Millennium. Did you know that the Bucks would be worse than the Falcons this year? This is all hypothetical. The season hasn't even started yet. And technically, how worse can we get? Honestly. And how worse can you guys get? Honestly. Like, what are we even talking about here? The Atlanta Flakes. The Atlanta Fumblecans. I like that one. The Atlanta Fumblecans. Let's try that one actually further. The Atlanta Fumblecans. It just sounds so funny to say. The Atlanta Fumblecans are probably going to have a better record than the Buccaneers this year. Yeah. But God, I hope that you guys are like only 10-7 and we're 10-7. So you get like the 4th seed and we get the 5th seed. And then I got to come into Atlanta and take your hopes and dreams and rip them apart like Brady did when he was on the Patriots, mind you. But not when he was on the Bucks. You weren't even sniffing us when he was on the Bucks. Speaking of my Gronk shirt. Anyway, give him hell, Kyle. Scott, I gave you love. And this is how you pay me. That's okay. That's okay. I still remember shitting on your Rams. And I remember that your Rams at least got a playoff loss. So there's that, right? So you were right. It is. Does your coffee taste like NFC South second place? My coffee tastes like win. Buddy, win the South all you want. I won the Super Bowl being a wild card team. And I went through the Aints. Fumblecans. Shelby. Hi, everybody. Somebody? Are you okay? Of course I'm okay. This is NSD, baby. Welcome back. I bring the heat. I have too much energy that people think I'm on cocaine. And I can never confirm or deny the truth of that nature ever. I'm sorry. What does he say? Tampa Bay Chunketeers. So we actually thought that was a good one. I mean, it's not bad. I'll give you a 2 out of 5, which makes it a percentage and stuff. Anyways, Robbie's here. Could be speed. Listen. Hey, listen. Anybody here from Thunder Bay remember the bridge incident of, what was that, 2007? Anyways, God, I can't wait to do the other show where I can talk about these. Anyways, we need to start getting into the sports talk. There's too many people here, and I love it. I've missed all of you. Every single one of you, including Scott. Bucks got in having a losing record because the NFC South sucks. I mean, it's not technically wrong. And in comparison, when you have the Panthers, when you have the Panthers anchoring you down, okay? But you know what? Let's talk about this stuff. Let's stay in order here. First of all, thank you all again for being here. Much love. Round of applause to all of you for being here. It is too early in the morning to be listening to a ginger like me talk about football when football shouldn't even be happening yet. But we're here, right? All right, let's do it. The NFL offseason has produced a number of movements, obviously in free agency and the 2024 NFL draft, where we've seen lots of quarterbacks go to new homes. We've seen aging talent finally get released from their franchises. We have seen captains of longtime teams finally get released for cap penalties, for cap hits, for cap casualties is what we like to call them. Now, that all being said, most of these players have made the wave around. They've gone to brand new teams. Some are still free agents, and some are, waiting until that training camp area so they can finally get a home when something inevitably happens, which happens every year because we're all human. Something breaks, something gets torn. It's just the reality. But the reality now that is starting to set in is this. There are a lot more teams closer to each other than we like to think. And I know that sounds weird because you're probably thinking in your head, Andrew, that sounds very dumb. The Carolina Panthers are nowhere near the Kansas City Chiefs. The New York Giants are nowhere near the San Francisco 49ers. We are there. This is not even up for debate, Andrew. Well, that's one of the reasons why I made NSD, because I like to debate. But I also like to listen to your debates and not call you dumb. So I'll remember that. But I do digress. I like to take this as an opportunity to really think about it. What do you see behind you? My every year predictions that I do. Win-losses. I do this every single year. Every single year. And what is happening now? Yeah, I got, the Panthers with a couple losses and the Giants with many losses and stuff like that. But when I started to go through the schedule and then I start to look at all the other seasons that have happened, especially the last 3 seasons, you got the Chicago Bears beating the San Francisco 49ers. You got the Kansas City Chiefs losing in season to the Colts, who were supposed to be nothing. There is a lot of turnover in the middle of the season. This is the reason why you get the Kansas City Chiefs not getting home games the entire playoffs. This is the reason why the Buffalo Bills were predicted to not even make the playoffs last year. But inevitably now, especially after this offseason, when you just take a look at all of the teams, we laughed last year. And man, I shouldn't have taken the 2 wins away from the Texans. I would have had so much more points to my offseason chart. But look at the Houston Texans of last year. Everything we said is for these guys to be the worst team. Now they're going to go after wide receivers for CJ Stroud and this, that. And well, now they are going for wide receivers for CJ Stroud, but they're actually trading for number ones from playoff and possibly even Super Bowl caliber teams like the Buffalo Bills. What happened? What happened is all of us, including myself, and I will be the first person that you could point to and blame for this, is we listen to the paid media too much. And I'm not saying that as any type of politic thing or, oh, Andrew doesn't believe it. No. I'm saying this because people on the media that we listen to every single day, Colin Cowherd, Dan Orlovsky, Pat McAfee, Stephen Smith, Steve Smith, Stephen A. Smith. There we go. My apologies. And so on and so forth. These gentlemen and ladies say things to get clicks and to get traction onto their pages every single day. And we are all not immune to it. Some of us fall for it. And again, I am to blame as well. And it's just the way it is. We click. We see. What do you mean Tom Brady isn't the greatest quarterback of all time? What do you mean the Cleveland Browns are a Super Bowl team? I've never heard this in a million. They do this to click. And had I started this show by literally saying that the Carolina Panthers could be close to the Kansas City Chiefs, I would have had nobody watching right now. And no, I'm not actually saying that the Carolina Panthers are close to the Chiefs. But what I'm saying is, when we start digesting some of these teams, when we start digesting when some of these teams have to play other teams next season, we predict an easy win. We predict an easy week for some of these teams. Yet we go back and we look, and it is not always the case. In fact, something like 38% of the time, the last 3 seasons, where a favored team by more than plus 13.5, and this goes out to my gamblers out there, I see you in the chats, plus 13.5 spread, are more accustomed to actually lose that game altogether, and then another over 50% cover the spread from the other side. So what is that telling you? It's telling you that in cases like this right now in the NFL, it's unprecedented. We have higher scoring games because defenses can't tackle. So that means the utilization to the offense is starting. People are doing different things. Pay the quarterback, surround it with young guys. When we have to pay the young guys, replace the quarterback. Or get lucky like the 49ers. Or get lucky like the Dallas Cowboys. These are all instances that we're seeing right now. And now in this offseason, again, teams that we thought were going to be horrible. The Commanders, the Patriots, the Chicago Bears, now all of a sudden have big question marks around them. What happens if Jaden Daniels actually becomes a tad bit slower version of Lamar Jackson? What if Drake May, all he needed was a brand new offensive-minded coordinator to take him in and utilize his potential? What if, and big what if here, because we're also looking at like the Giants and the Bears, but what if Daniel Jones, before his injury and the small little highlight package he started putting out, becomes bigger? What if Caleb Williams ends up being the Peyton Manning of this generation at number 1 overall? We don't know. We like to assume. We like to think. But at the end of the day, we do not know. Someone can turn around and be the next Texans. The Colts could literally go undefeated next year because of the small sample size we saw of Anthony Richardson and his sheer size. That could be a brand new type of NFL that we see out of the Colts. There are so many possibilities. The Raiders could literally be a 13-win team or a 3-win team. We do not know. That's the best part about this upcoming season. Us as fans, me as a Buccaneer fan, everyone knows I'm a Bucs fan. But everyone knows that I am the fan that actually looks at it, and I will take a shot at my team for what I see. And I was wrong last year. Damn right I was wrong. Oh, and I went on every platform and I owed up to it. And again, there could be another possibility that we don't make the playoffs this year. There could be a possibility the Bucks aren't necessarily a great team. Could be a possibility that we're falling in the weeds to some of the other teams that are stacking up, that we're not necessarily forming or conforming to the new NFL, that the Glazers are just going to be mid-pack for the rest of our lives. There could be that as well. Who knows? But what I do know is this: when I started doing this right here, like I do every year, I started noticing that a lot of these teams are really a lot closer, especially when you start looking at the schedules. And we know that good teams will respectively not do as good at the beginning of the season as they will at the end. And teams like the Chiefs, like the Chargers and the Lions this year with the schedule cannot afford to have that happen at the beginning of the season, especially with teams in their division. Could you imagine if the Lions, I'm sorry, Alex, I know you're going to watch this and I'm sorry, but could you imagine if the Lions, and I can't remember the weeks, lost to their division rivals 3 weeks for the 3 weeks in a row? Chicago, Minnesota, Green Bay. You imagine what that does to the morale of the team? We've already seen, and again, Alex, please don't hate me. We've seen what it did last year. We saw what it did in the playoffs. You just kick the fucking field goals and we go to the Super Bowl and you got a chance against the Chiefs again. There are so many different things that could happen in this season. The Bengals had an injury and had a top 10 pick. I believe it was top 10. 15. It was a top 15. There's just lots of different things that can happen that none of us want to actually admit to. But here on NSD, here myself, when I started doing this, and we talk about healthy teams, this is a lot closer than we all would like to admit. 1,000%. Everyone has a quarterback. Everyone has a quarterback. That's the other biggest thing. There might be one or two teams that could look to, replace it. And I'm sure Shadur Sanders as a Raider next year would be really good. And Carson Beck as a Giant might look nice. And where the hell is everybody else going to go? Everybody's got a quarterback. Everybody's paying for a quarterback. The Steelers, maybe. So we'll see what happens there. So who's the worst? Pop in here because I saw a lot. Scott, thank you so much, buddy. Look at all these beautiful people. Look at all these beautiful people you showed. Corey Wanton, appreciate you if you tuned in. Go Kansas City Chiefs. That's weird for a Rams fan to say. Loving the Giant shades. Thank you. So to be honest, before I keep going, I was at a vendor that I really enjoy here in Fort Saskatchewan, and I wanted a pair of Pit Vipers, and I literally was possibly inebriated when I got these, and I thought they said Pit Vipers on them. They have plastic right here that is very uncomfortable, so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to use these for raves in the show. So this is going to be my new little personality here for a little bit. And to be honest, when I put them on, just because they were right here with the little ring light and stuff, I'm like, this actually helps a lot. What does suck though is like you can kind of see what is around me too. Oh, that's kind of weird. So appreciate you being here, man. I like my crazy odds. That one bet with the Spurs, that will forever be my crazy. Yes, that we posted that actually on when we were recruiting people for the gambling chat, which again, to anybody, the gambling chat is always open. If you would like to join, give me a message. We'll pop you in there and we'll help you with gambling. It's a little quieter in there now just because it's just baseball and a couple of NASCAR bets, which by the way, Bowman last week, plus 2,500, baby. That was such a good one. And then Bodog crashes. So that was also fun. But yes, Robbie has had some great parlays. Especially the inside joke is the one parlay that with insane odds that everybody hopped on except me. So you'll hear it from Alex. You'll hear it from Joey. You'll hear it from Robbie. You'll hear it from Shelby. You'll hear it from Kavas, who I always keep forgetting what his actual name is in real life, but and the other guys in there too. So Ben says, let's hope Anthony Richardson knows how to slide this season instead of trying to make every play. I agree. I love it because it's in a weird way. It's like, imagine Ray Lewis running the ball. That's what you kind of just imagine if Ray Lewis just said, "Get the fuck off me," like every play. I love it, especially because he's from Florida, but he's not from Florida. He's played for Florida. And when I watched him, I knew that he would be good if he went to the right team just because of the talent that he has. I was like, he is raw, though. I was like, his inside stuff is going to need so much work, and teams are going to take advantage of that a lot. Like when he plays good defenses, that's probably what's going to outdo the Colts. But yeah, oh, buddy, I love Anthony Richardson. Would that be called a foot job? Ooh. Anywho, Ben Cornett says, Bucks got the Lions week 2. We need to get our revenge on Detroit for those 2 losses they gave us last season. LOL. I agree. I just, oh man, I don't know. That's going to be hot. 1-1 to start off the week. Week 3, I can deal with that. But I don't like our odds against the Lions right off the bat, but I do want to win. I do want to win really, really badly. Speaking of which, going back to it, you know who wants to win really badly? The bottom teams. So what I did is I actually posted in NSD the poll, and I said, who is the worst team? Who did you guys think is the worst team here? And I'm going to pull up all the results. It does look like by an astounding margin, it was the Patriots, and then tied, we got the Panthers and the Giants, and then people said the Broncos, yeah, and then we got some Aints in there, we got some Commanders, Bucks from Scott, the Cardinals. I don't see the Cardinals. Someone said the Raiders too. The Raiders, yeah, or maybe no, I put the Raiders in as an option and no one voted for it. That's funny. It's different because it's difficult because you look at those teams that we just said, at least the 5, right? So you'd say, let's pull out the whiteboard. That's the segment we call pull out the whiteboard. Okay. So what we were talking about is we talked about the Patriots, talked about the Giants. We talked about, what was the Panthers there? What was the other? What are the other 2? We'll go back to that again here. Where's the other 2? Where are the other 2? Class? Sorry, I shouldn't talk to a class with something in my mouth like that. I'm sorry. That's very, very, very rude. Patriots, Panthers, Giants, Broncos. That was the other one I wanted to put in there. Broncos. And let's put it, okay, let's say Commanders. Just because Sean is probably watching and he's probably going to get mad at me. And I like when my fans get mad at me a little bit. It makes for good traction. So let's look at this here. We got the Patriots, we got the Giants. Put this down here. Patriots, Giants. We got the Panthers, the Broncos, and the Commanders. These 4 here, sure. That does seem like pretty much your top 5 for picks going forward into next season. But what, in a weird way, and you know what? Just take the Commanders off of here. Let's get the freaking Commanders off of here. Sorry, Sean. Let's just like now. Out of this though, for all the fans out there watching and anybody who's going to tune in later, out of these teams though, who wouldn't you be surprised made it to the playoffs or pushed for a playoff run? That's the question. Because now all of a sudden, think of these teams as good. Think of these teams as at least being half decent, where they may actually compete for a playoff. And which one do you think actually gets in there? Because if you're asking me, I would probably go either Giants or Broncos. That's just me. But also, if you made an argument for the Patriots with a brand new head coach, new quarterback, new system, a offensive coordinator who has done a great job for the Cleveland Browns, I wouldn't be pissed. I would listen. For Panther fans, this is, but Dave Canales did run a offense in Tampa Bay where he did utilize the run game, which people wanted to crap on our run game last year, but it actually did, in my opinion, and I'm going to have a segment coming up in a couple weeks on that, did actually do kind of okay. So now that he's got 4 running backs in Carolina, don't you think that that kind of takes a little bit of pressure off of Bryce Young, who is still a #1 overall pick, who still technically is a mobile-ish quarterback, who does still technically have a good arm, who just needed the proper system to play in? And then the Giants were just in the playoffs 2 years ago. 2 years ago, they were my sleeper team that I was correct on, and even surprised the shit out of me, because Brian Dable's Canadian. Oh, yay. So I was like, fuck yeah, let's go Canada. And then the Broncos have my mortal enemy there, as all Buck fans know, and Sean freaking, I'm going to tear your Achilles and give you 10 grand for tearing that person's Achilles. Freaking Taylor. Sean Taylor? No. Wow. John Payton. Sean Taylor is an amazing guy. So those teams there. Let me check the comment section quick, too. LA Rams going back to the Super Bowl. I love that. Alex Schomburg, thank you for tuning in, buddy. The Broncos have my Lord and Savior. But that's right. I forgot they got Troy Franklin in there, too. What fucking round did he fall to again? What fucking... Was it like 3rd or 4th? Or was 2nd? I can't remember exactly where. But no, I agree. I did. Fuck yeah. So Schomburg says Broncos. Okay. And Scott said, yeah, okay. So that Giants, Daniel Jones needs to quit the NFL. Patriots, non-existent Panthers. Broncos, quack, quack. I like that. Oh, yeah, that's okay. That's what I thought. It was 4th rounder. No, this is a good comment actually here too. I like it. Just it's savage, because if Robert was watching right now, he'd kind of laugh. And the Panthers, I do think, yes, the Panthers are probably going to get the 1st overall pick next year. But if we were to sit here and say, do we think the Carolina Panthers could steal a couple of games next year, just in general? Yes, I think everybody agrees with that. Now, do we think that they would be able to steal games off of good teams? Probably not. Now, would they be able to steal games off of teams in their division? Absolutely. If you were to tell me I'm going to lose to the Panthers once next year, I'd be pissed. But I can see it. I can see us losing to divisional rivals. So yeah, I can see the Panthers getting 3 off of the division and then another 3 randomly. But if you also told me they got none, I could also see it. So when we look at this board, this just tells me right here, and I think everybody can agree, I think the NFL just needs some more teams. Whoa. What? Yeah, I'm going to say it one more time so everybody else in the back can hear me. I think the NFL needs more teams. Drop a like on this video right now if you agree. The NFL needs more teams. Smash that like button if you agree. Because now we're getting into the other part of this segment. Because I'm glad that there's a couple people in here to listen to this. The NFL has 32 teams. 32 teams. They have the most money out of any major sporting franchise by a large margin. Even with this whole payout from the media thing comes, that is just but a scratch. Do you know how they can get $440 million back right easily? Expansion. $440 million per team. Where's the whiteboard? Everybody in the comment section to say, get the whiteboard. Or hashtag mini white. No, do not. Let's not. I'm just through it. I don't do that one. But let's start thinking about this. Let's start doing MAFE. Okay. It's like what? 440 mil per team. There's 32 teams. What is the math on that? So it's, oh my God. Okay, why did I do this to myself? Give me a quick second here. Because we're gonna do this as a family. So and then 1032 is like, yeah, the 14 the $14 billion. Okay, so it's 14 point whatever billion dollars. Okay, do you want to know how the NFL can pay that fine off right away, just like that? 4-team expansion. Because if you think about it, a pay for teams that we've seen, like the Carolina Panthers, the Washington Commanders, it's been $4 to $6 billion. You tell me that Roger Goodell hasn't sat there with some new ownerships and told them that the starting price of a brand new team in the NFL doesn't start back in the day at $750 million anymore. No good, sir. Welcome to the biggest fucking revenue you have ever seen. We put a dot right here and a B right here. And that's the start of it. The very start of it. So now the question becomes, now all of a sudden, quick math right there. 7, 14, 21, 28 plus the 2 5s equals $30 billion. Not only do you pay off this fine, you've doubled it. You still have $14 billion in the bank. You add that to the cap of the new expansion, and you start using that profit that you've now just got. Sorry about that. That you've just got. I'm going to keep that in, actually. That you just got from all this. And now you can pay transfer fees because this expansion is definitely going to start fucking with contracts. Now you can pay the fines for those contracts. Someone like Devontae Adams is like, no, I don't want to move. And he gets exposed to this draft and he gets told he's got to go play for the Toronto Huskies. Goodbye. Or all of a sudden, let's keep with the Raiders for a second. You say Max Crosby also exposed. Cap casualty Raiders can't figure it out. Max Crosby gets exposed to, drum roll please, the St. Louis Battlehawks. Yeah. Because can't call them Rams anymore. But then who else gets teams out there, huh? What about you, Orlando? What about you, Birmingham? What about you, another New York team? Why the fuck not? What about you, another Chicago team? Why the fuck not? What about you, Nebraska? What about you, Portland? What about you, Virginia Beach? What about you, Vancouver? What about you, London? What about you, Munich? The possibilities are endless. The money that can come from this is endless. We have the equation right here. It doesn't cost, I got to start doing it properly. It doesn't cost that much for the NFL to pay this off and then get what everybody else wants. An expansion. Go to new countries. You want to make a foreign division? You could. Make it Vancouver, Toronto, and I mean, that's going to suck for flights, but you know what I'm saying. Make it Toronto, make it Vancouver, make it Germany, make it London. You want to make it 3 more American teams, which I would probably do it. Put a team in London too. The Jacksonville Jaguars just basically threatened relocation. They obviously knew there's another place willing to invest in them all the way through. We, now the fans, got to figure out where they're sniffing. Because they are. Oh, baby, they are. Because money is what makes the world go round. And that right there, like we saw, that right there, baby, pays for it all. So where do you think the next team should go for NFL expansion? Should it go up north there to Canada, to Toronto? That would be my dream. Should it stay down in the South? Obviously. Should we go back to St. Louis with just a brand new ownership? Should it go to Utah with that kind of ownership going on? Should it go down to another team in Florida? Where should the next NFL teams go if they were to do an expansion? Drop it down in the comment section. Let us know. We're going to clip this. We're going to send this off, obviously, on the NSD page eventually. When I get some time, probably today. I'll see if I can clip it all. So tell us what you think should be the next NFL teams that get an expansion. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the first segment. We're 45 minutes in. The next segments are obviously going to be a little bit quicker. So I am just going to take a quick little look at the comment section. Bucky Irving and Troy Franklin went in the 4th. Bucky fucking Irving on the Bucks, baby. Let's go. Yes. Yeah, okay. I see that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree. He's going to help Rachaad White. So like having both of those guys, man, I cannot wait to have my Buck segment on another show in a couple weeks here. Woo! St. Louis deserves an NFL team. I agree. What happened to the World Bowl? Ooh, that's a good question. That's a very good question. I don't know. But that would be something cool. You know, like, because the NFL is probably looking at these, like the way college does like bowl games and stuff. You start adding more teams and you know, outside of America, you can start having those weird kind of bowl games. That would be kind of cool. Like a Germany bowl game. Ooh, like the European championship of American football. And it's just a comminglement of the teams that played in that division got to play an extra game. Maybe not an extra game, but one of their games technically adds as like a championship in the season, like a conference game, and they just switch it around. That would be kind of cool. They could just make it so that both the teams in or all four teams in that division would have to play that same week. It's a TBD of the times because then they would be placed in the standings of who's playing who. So then say if it was like the Toronto team goes and plays the team London for the championship, and then just like we were talking about, Vancouver and Germany would just play each other that week as like the consolation third place prize or whatever, but it just acts as like a regular season game. What did we just come up with, Scott? Are we back in the comments? Are you still here? Battle of the board, Canada versus US. I like that. But honestly, though, think about that. That would be something really cool. In division game, like if it was like a European division or just like a world's division or something like that, that would be really cool. And a regular season, I gotta mark that down. I gotta write that down. Like that's really cool. Scott, thank you for that. That was really cool. I like that. Quick little. Let me see what we got here. I haven't been here for a little bit. So give me, you know what? Yeah, let's just go with this one. Okay, so I'm going to play this quick commercial so I can take a quick drink. We're going to be back for some Dynasty and talk of some of the next draft class. Stay tuned. Nom, nice and refreshed. Thank you guys for tuning in to North Sports Dynasty. I am Andrew Fulbert. I am the hostess with the mostest. And as always, because I didn't say it at the beginning and someone's going to give me shit for it, we are live, as always, from my basement, from NSD headquarters, which is always going to be in my basement. I don't have any other place I'd want to bring it. Did I win something? No, but if you keep tuning in, every day on the NSD group, you will see something that gets posted every single day. And you just need to keep an eye on that. That is it. That is all. That is all I can say. All right. Top 5 Dynasty Sleepers. I'm going to be quick about this. These are literally guys in fantasy football. If you are playing Dynasty or even just, redraft, these are guys to keep in mind in the back of your head. Dynasty, for sure, you're going to want these on your roster. But for redraft, just keep them in the back of your mind. They might be some steals later on. Let's start off with number 5. I'm a little bit of a homer here. Jalen McMillan from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I had no flipping idea this guy was going to fall to the 3rd round, nor did I even have a clue the Buccaneers would be the guys that decided to draft him. This guy is amazing. He was literally my favorite wide receiver, besides another one I'm going to talk about in a second, in this draft class, where putting on the Bucs jersey is going to be amazing because he has got possession ability downfield. If Baker just wants to hump that thing all the way down the field and let Mike Evans catch it, or if Mike Evans is doubled, or if Mike Evans is off of the route, then they can always go to Jalen McMillan, who is going to be that outside B, because they're going to put Chris Godwin in the slot where he deserves to be. Do I think Chris Godwin is going to be here long-term? No. So if you are a dynasty owner of Chris Godwin, I would start looking to trade him, because wherever he goes next, I do not know if they're going to be able to fully utilize him. Number 4, Jacob Cowing, wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers. A speedster. of a guy. This kid, underrated all the way through the draft, got all the way to the 49ers in the 4th round. They are looking for someone who is Deebo Samuel-esque. He has that run ability. Does he have the size? Absolutely not, but he has more speed. And that is something that you cannot ask for enough in this league, because it is starting to become more like flag football or touch football. And the first couple weeks with this drag hip thing is going to suck, but inevitably, it is just the way the NFL's got to go. So, whatever. But if you didn't get Xavier Worthy at the beginning of the draft, and you didn't get some of these other speedsters that you were considering at the beginning of your draft, Jacob Cowing went in the 4th round or undrafted in most drafts that I saw for Dynasty, so he is probably still available out there. Number 3, Tyrone Tracy, the running back for the Giants. Hear me out here for a second. Redraft, it's going to be difficult until training camp comes with the whole Devin Singletary acquisition. Oh, there we go in my back. But Devin Singletary has a lot of usage on those legs. And I do not think that if the Giants are in a rebuild situation or they are tanking, that Singletary is going to be there for long or is even going to be utilized. Tracy right now is the backup. He is a brand new drafted running back or undrafted free agent. He has the potential to take over that backfield for at least the next 2 years. So if you have him in Dynasty, good. Keep him on your bench. See what can happen, because the possibilities there are endless. That's what happens when these teams start faltering, but they also have good offensive weapons around them. They start utilizing what they can, and this guy could be utilized real quick if Devin Singletary goes down because he's got injury concerns as well, or if he just says, fuck this, I want to go to a winning team, because I can also see that. Number 2, Audric Esteem, the running back out of Denver. Another one where you just got to hear me out. There is a McLaughlin or whatever the heck his name is, that's probably going to take it over because Javonte Williams' injury is going to make him a casualty when it comes to training camp. So this guy is probably going to take over as the backup. He was a projected 2nd round running back out of Notre Dame. He was a sleeper, in my opinion, all season. I had to slowly start realizing who this guy was towards the end of the season. He is like a Josh Jacobs, where in college he was utilized properly. His legs are fresh. And if he is given the opportunity in this league, which I think he will in Denver eventually, he's going to put up big numbers when the opportunity is there. So if you want to take that risk, this is a high risk, high reward player, I would do it. This is the one that I would take the high risk, high reward on. The number 1 sleeper I got this year may not necessarily be the sleeper everybody is thinking, but it's Tyjae Spears. I don't want to hear the Tony Pollard talk. Tony Pollard had an opportunity to take the reins in Dallas in one of the better scoring offenses, and he faltered. He fucked it up. And now he's going to go to Tennessee, where he's going to be a 1B. He might get 10 to 12 carries per game. But when it comes to PPR leagues, when it comes to receptions, and it comes to that backfield flashes of, ATN-esque or the Le'Veon Bell of pass catching back in the day, those are the comparisons I have to Tyjae Spears. He showed great flashes last year in an offense that was still a little scattered because of Mike Vrabel taking off. But what I am telling you right now is this is a player that you want to have on your bench. I have traded for in a couple of leagues. You want to take the risk because he's going to get some plays next year, because everyone's going to want to cover Calvin Ridley and D-Hop out on the flats. And the offensive line is really, really good. So he's probably going to see a lot more pass catching opportunities. So if you have a PPR league that's or points per reception, I'm all over Tyjae Spears. That is just me. So there, ladies and gentlemen, was this week's top 5 NSD sleepers for Dynasty. You see how I do that? So if anybody's watching live, see how I did that little pause? It's just so that when I go and edit this later, it's a lot easier. So thank you all for that. Now, let's talk a little bit about next year's draft class, shall we? I'm going to tell you right now, NSD has been known. NLTF, But NSD has been known to be the big show where everybody wants to go see prospects. What prospects to know about next year going forward, which ones we want to see on our teams, which ones are going to be the best, what quarterbacks are going first overall, all that other kind of fun stuff. So let's get into it, shall we? There's not that much. Next year, there's a bit of an issue. It's a little bit weaker to a certain degree than most drafts, in my opinion. And the reason I say that right now is this. Besides some of the big names that I will give you right now, Will Campbell, offensive tackle from LSU. Kelvin Banks, also tackle from Texas. Got Will Johnson, the corner out of Michigan. Travis Hunter, the wide receiver corner from Colorado. And Luther Burden, my guy from Missouri. Those are some of the big names that you're going to hear. The quarterbacks that you'll hear of, obviously, is Carson Beck, Quinn Ewers, and Shedeur Sanders. But the thing is, when you start thinking of these quarterbacks, where are they going to go? Shedeur has basically already put a list out there. These are the only places I'm going. And it just weirdly seems that Dallas doesn't want to do the re-signing of McCarthy or Dak Prescott when there's the opportunity to, where's Quinn going to go? What about Carson? Carson might be a good Giant. But then where does like Quinn go? What other team needs a quarterback? The Aints might start needing one. Why the fuck are my Buccaneers logo sideways? How dare I? Like, who else up here is going to start needing one? Broncos don't. They got Bo Nix. I mean, the Jets could, but I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to want someone behind him, right? Then you really look at next year's draft class. The one thing that does stand out, though, is the running backs. There are a lot of running backs. And you might actually have more than one running back taken in the first round. Might not be in the top 5, might not be in the top 10, but there are a lot of good running backs who would probably go in the top 25, top 30, even to like end out the first round. Pick 30, 31, 32 could all very easily be running backs. But that's just because there's not necessarily that much. There is good players. Do not get me wrong. There are going to be steals. Yes. But this is projecting right now to be one of the worst when it comes to talented players. And especially with the quarterbacks, you could have 9 of these quarterbacks declare for the draft, and all of them could essentially be starters for teams. But there's just no room. Nobody needs them right now. Teams might start doubling up. You might start seeing a run of that. But really, like the Steelers, the Giants, maybe, the Aints. Like, who else really? Seattle, maybe? Who's going to start taking these quarterbacks? And are they going to start going high next year? They don't need to be. Minnesota put out there last year that they were willing to trade up. And they said basically for J.J. McCarthy. That got the prices going up for picks number 2 and 3, which screwed anybody else trading up because nobody else wanted to pay that price. And Minnesota had the ability to get their quarterback in their lap. Fallen. So that's what some of these other guys are going to do. I mean, what else in this draft class, are we really looking out for? You got people like Denzel Burke, who is one of my 3, which, the FOOBZ FAV 3. Denzel Burke was the top corner of my choice last year's draft. Kept saying it all year. Go check the tape. And I'm going to tell you right now, he's still my favorite. I do like him and Mbuka. I like Ohio State a lot this year. And that's my pick right now until I am shown differently. Everyone's trying to throw Oregon at me, and I can agree. Oregon's pretty fucking good. But I like Ohio right now. Fuck, they don't need a quarterback. They got like 4 running backs if they wanted. 2 for sure. I also like Travion Henderson, since we're staying with the Ohio State. Travion Henderson from Ohio State, the running back. He was number 1 until obviously they got another guy to come in there in Quinson Jumpkins. So the two-headed monster, this guy, in my opinion, was a early second, maybe first round pick. He's probably going to fall down to the second now just because he's going to get a lot of carries taken away from him. But he's still a fantastic player. He's got great ability to break the tackle. He's got good rush through the hole, like a lot of stretch and ISOs that I've seen. And he does pretty damn good going through the hole, and he keeps his legs pumping. That's all you can really ask for. And the last one I got here, this is a Iowa tight end, really, Luke Lackey. So last year, he had the opportunity to get drafted. He was under the radar because there wasn't necessarily that many tight ends that were available or even that good necessarily in last year's draft. This one is going to have a few more. Oscar Delp, Gadsden is probably, unless he transfers to wide receiver. But this guy, 6'6", 253 right now. He can block. He can hit. He's nasty. He's got a bit of this guy in him. And to be honest, the Bucks don't need him. But there are a few teams that he would do fantastic. I want him on a Seahawk, in the Seahawks jersey. I want him in a freaking Titans jersey. Or I want this guy in like a Cowboys jersey. And I'm only saying that because his personality and stuff like that just fits those teams, in my opinion. Next year's draft, guys, I don't know really where to tell you. It's heavier there on the running backs. But everything else, like, you're going to get to the 20th pick overall, and you're going to start hearing names that you're like, who the fuck is this? What school did he play for? Oh, he declared? Oh, he was projected to be like a 3rd, 4th rounder. Shit. Okay. Well, that shows how much we know when we do our mock drafts, right? That's what you're going to start seeing. We're going to do these mock drafts. There's going to be some good edge rushers. But just in general, until we start seeing some of these players who are declaring or who are going to declare for this upcoming draft, which obviously doesn't happen until January. But until that happens, we're not going to see that much out of the superstar pile. So prepare yourself for kind of a lackluster draft. And it kind of sucks because Madden, which, by the way, shout out to everybody watching again. Thank you all for being here. Drop a like, drop a comment, drop whatever you want. I see you guys in there, and I'll give it to you in a second. I am doing Madden franchise team builders. I have already put it out there in a couple of group chats. I've talked to a few people as well. I will be doing team builders. So if you are a friend and you are subscribed on NSD on YouTube, and you follow the group and you follow the page, all that kind of stuff, you get, if you message me, you will get team that you want, like built, all requested and all that kind of stuff, everything that you want, free. Absolutely free. That's what happens when you follow NSD, baby. I got you. Got you. That also being said, I will be building teams. I'll have a few like available. I'm waiting to hear back from EA because they said everybody will hear back about the franchise builder and all that kind of stuff very, very soon. So yes, I will be doing that. But also, it sucks because they basically fixed up franchise and all that kind of stuff because they can build teams and all that shit. We're going to have the whole new draft thing on the TV and on the game and all blah, 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 blah. And the draft's going to suck. It's not going to be as good as we thought. That's why, this is the reason why they chose to do the college game right now, is because it can pay all these players like this type of money because there's not that many like superstars. They all went this draft. Fuck. So, yeah, I'll be doing that. Okay. Draft classes. I'll also be doing draft classes. So get at me if you want those. Shout out to all you guys who hollered at me last year. If it wasn't for that glitch, NSD probably would have got a few hundred more subscribers because I went back and looked, and mine was still in the top 20 for downloaded, and mine was a glitchy draft class. So I got it in there in time. People went in there and, utilized it. I got a few subscribers off of it. So everything's beautiful, baby. Everything's beautiful. Speaking of beautiful, all you guys in the comment section, Puka Nacua MVP. Puka Nacua definitely could be MVP for Dynasty, for fantasy football. I don't know, just in general, if a wide receiver for the Rams, like with Cooper Kupp there, is going to get MVP. But I was also wrong about your Rams before, so I ain't saying shit. Xavier, we're the Kansas City Chiefs. Damn right, man. He's fast. He's so fast. Christopher Cole, thank you for tuning in, buddy. Missouri, yes, sir. I know you like your Miz. Luther Burden the third is my Facebook friend. Fucking A, buddy. Where did you go? We'll need a quarterback of the future. I guess that is also true. I guess that's one of the other teams I could probably look for a quarterback next draft. Yeah, you could probably look at like Will Howard or Dylan Gabriel, I guess, is the other one that everybody's talking about if he declares and stuff. So, all right, that's a good point. That's a very good point. But what about Stafford's going to play forever? Stafford plays forever when he dies here for the Rams. Cooper Kupp is beauty, and it's turning a shade of gray. Sorry, I just took that way too far. That was November Rain, by the way, sung in the tune the LA Rams and their upcoming season. So that was for you, Scott. I'm going to have to clip that one too. That was actually kind of funny. Nothing lasts for... Anyway, Christopher Cole, buddy, I appreciate you being here. Here's the thing. I tend to actually agree, but also it's one of those like Spencer Rattler situations where like his football ability is very good. And I can't take that away from the kid. So I agree, but it's his dad and where he plays and the endorsements and his attitude. Some team's going to take him on. It's probably going to be the Raiders, maybe the Cowboys. It probably should be the Cowboys, but we'll see what happens. So now, ladies and gentlemen, take one more sip of coffee before I get this last segment in of the day. Oh, I am done with coffee. I forgot about that. That's why I'm no longer, I don't have the energy. No, I'm kidding me. I could do this for hours. All right. Last segment of the day. I have had this as written in my notes for a long time. I finally wanted to put it out there because this is something that I think a lot of people could get on board with. Is we talk about the Hall of Fame and all the players who are in, and we start adding names that are just, they were great players, you know what I mean? But like, were they the Hall of Fame type players? And Deion Sanders said it best. There should be two types. There's the Hall of Fame and the Hall of Good. And in a way I agree, but just calling it good, no. Because there's many players that we could sit here and argue that their talent alone should put them in the Hall of Fame, or that people who are already in the Hall of Fame from in the past should be taken out of that Hall of Fame and put into this one because of how awesome they were. But we're not going to do that. So I have now created, let's say, the Hall of Awesome, ladies and gentlemen. And this is a debate that we will have here on NSD almost weekly. I will have it as a segment put into the group that you guys have all followed. Hopefully you follow the group. And if you don't, go pop in there and you'll see. I'm going to have a poll. And we'll have this poll go for about a week after the show. So we start getting some more names in there. But who would you vote in to the Hall of Awesome? And what the Hall of Awesome really entails is the player may have been good in your generation of football, but may not have the stats to back up going to the Hall of Fame. May lack the trophies, may lack the personal accomplishments, may lack the explosiveness, could have played in an era where other people were not, where other people were more influential at the positions. people that just get forgotten all the time. They exist. And ladies and gentlemen, right here, right now, I'm going to give you the first 5 because these guys are badass. But we're going to call it the Hall of Awesome. NSD's Hall of Awesome. Oh, I like that. We're going to write that down. Scott, write it down. Write it down. What are we doing? What do we call this thing? Oh, I broke it already. What do we call this? Hashtag little white? No, we're not calling it that, right? What are we calling this whiteboard? Okay. Hall of Awesome. The Hall of Awesome. Just like that. NSD. NSD Hall of Awesome. And our first ballot, first ballot person going in to the Hall of Awesome is, drum roll please. Ready, ladies and gentlemen, here it is. First name going in, Michael Vick. Yes, the dog fighter himself, the man who actually, if you really think about it, is the only person who actually paid his dues that were needed to get back to his job. The man went to jail. The man did everything that he needed to in order to get back to play football. May still be a bad person in anybody's eyes, but anybody who asks for forgiveness and actually went through it is a person who deserves it in my eyes. So let's talk about him for a second. The stats might actually be there-ish, but passing, no. Longevity, no. No trophies. But the man's got an MVP. The man was literally the best fucking video game player ever. And I don't even think it's close for any sporting franchise. Right? He was mobile. That release that he had, the highlight package he has with the Eagles when he came back after the whole thing, that package right there is enough to put the man first into the NSD Hall of Awesome. The first balloter going in is Mr. MB himself, Mr. Falcon. Go watch the highlight package. If you've never seen the Michael Vick highlight package, guys, oh my God. Just saying. Next, drum roll, please. Second person going into the Hall of Awesome is DeSean Jackson. Yes, the man that Michael Vick actually got to play with for a little bit there. The utility weapon himself. This man was a giant killer, literally. The coach said, do not punt it to DeSean Jackson. He muffed the damn thing and still ran it into your fucking end zone. The man has one of the most insane catch radiuses of all time. Do not go look up his highlight package with the Buccaneers because it doesn't exist. Thank you, James fucking Winston. But this man was like, in a weird way, our generation's Bo Jackson. And not because of like the running, but just the explosiveness that he produced on a weekly basis. Didn't matter what quarterback he had. Didn't matter what team he was playing for. He brought 100%, and it showed on his highlight package. And it just so happens that Michael Vick's return to the Eagles was a lot cooler because he had someone like that. D-Jax, as everybody likes to call him, is our second first ballot Hall of Awesome nominee, I guess. Well, inductee. That's the word I was looking for. Fuck this whiteboard. All right. Number 3. This one's going to get a little bit controversial, I guess you would say. Might get a little bit controversial. But our third pick into the Hall of Awesome, third ballot inductee is Philip motherfucking Rivers. Whoa. Andrew, Philip Rivers is a Hall of Famer. Is he? I like to think so. I do. I like to think so. Also, before we keep going, I see there's a few more comments. For a second Super Bowl win before I die, could be asking for a third, pushing it. No, shit, I'm burning 70 this year. But you know what? If you got it, you got it, right? Look at these Maple Leaf fans. So, Jim Malvin, thank you for the tag. Hall of Awesome. Fuck yeah. Christopher Cole says All-Stat. That's a good one. That's a good one. FOOBZ, that was more a Trump than a joke. Scott says, I have Michael Vick signed NFL game ball with it. Ooh, that's a good one, too. Misador, what's up, Misador? Thank you for tuning in, buddy. Appreciate you. Tyreek Hill for having 10 kids. That's hilarious. All right. Phillip Rivers. Why Phillip Rivers? No title, an MVP, really an awkward throw. I think he was the passing title leader of the season for 4 years of his career. A really meh season with the Colts that almost led to the Bucks. Thank God it didn't. And almost returned to the San Francisco 49ers with an injury to Brock Purdy. The man was a beaut, okay? And this guy may not actually sniff the Hall of Fame. He might just sniff the Ring of Honor for the Chargers. I don't necessarily, it's just one of those weird things where we don't know. We don't know. Right? So if they put him into the Hall of Fame, he gets out of the Hall of Awesome because you're in the Hall of Fame then. And then you take the appreciation there. But if he doesn't, think about this for a second. Some people are going to say that LT made him awesome. Him and LT were the Chargers back in the day. Okay? That motherfucker was a tank. And not only that, his shit talking was number 1 of all time. If we had a Hall of Fame for shit talking, he's number fucking 1. Okay? Phillip Rivers would demoralize you. And yeah, maybe it bit him in the ass because he never actually got over the hump. But he almost beat Brady one time in a fucking great game. He beat Peyton Manning once in the playoffs in a great game, only to lose subsequently, I believe, to either the Ravens or the Patriots. This guy, though, has got the yards. He's got a highlight package. He's got a package where he's running up to people and getting into their face. He literally, but before Justin Herbert showed up, he was the embodiment of what quarterback looked like for the Chargers. Okay? That is like what the Chargers always wanted in a quarterback. Like, we don't want anything else. So they got Justin Herbert, and they were like, that's pretty fucking close. The guy's a beaut. And in my opinion, if he does not get the respect that he deserves in the actual Hall of Fame, he becomes the 3rd inductee first ballot into the Hall of Awesome here at MSD. All right. Number 4. We only got 2 more here. So we start doing it next month again. We'll do this every month. We'll induct people in here. So we actually start catching up on some respect that these people's names should have. Number 4 on the NSD Hall of Awesome inductee list is Percy Harvin. Whoa, there's a deep cut for some of y'all. Percy Harvin. Percy Harvin was a Florida Gator, part of that amazing 2001 squad, I believe it was. I think 02 as well. Got my years mixed up. Percy Harvin, when he was on the Vikings for a bit, amazing. The quick agility, the ability to cut before injury, of course. And just the fact that when he is on the field, when he was on the field, you had to shift coverage that way that he was going. He was so shifty. He was so quick, and he could lay you out. The Vikings with him and Adrian Peterson were a force back in the day, ladies and gentlemen. Just like when they had Chris Carter, I wanted to say Delhomme, but I believe it was Culpepper, and Randy Moss. Like, Vikings have eras, okay? And one era that they had was the Adrian Peterson and Percy Harvin era. And when those two were healthy on the field, oh my effing God. They were just chef's kiss. When he went to the Seahawks, he played in the Super Bowl or one of the playoff games, then he got injured. But if you watch that, when he was in there, they shift towards him because they didn't know what the fuck to do with him. He was big. Imagine if Anthony Richardson could run like a 4.3.5, 4.4 flat at that speed, and that size was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Percy Harvin was so much fun. Like, Percy Harvin was so much fun when he was healthy. And he's never going to have the stats, just like Deshaun Jackson. He's never going to have the stats to show out, for all time's sake. But when he was on the field, holy fuck, that guy was a beaut. And he ain't going to go to the Hall of Fame, but he's going to stay here in the NSD Hall of Awesome. So let's put in one more, shall we? This has been pretty fun. I like this, guys. I like this a lot. And I don't think anybody's really hating in the comment section of any of this. So I think how we spell. I think that's how you spell his first name. I gotta remember. Can't remember how to spell his first name there. But our last inductee of the month, going into the NSD Hall of Awesome, is, ready for this one? I think everybody knows this one. Le'Veon Bell. Holy shit. Do you guys remember Le'Veon Bell for the Steelers? We were talking, like, they're talking about the running backs and the class of running backs and the pay of running backs that people got and stuff like that. Do you remember when this guy was holding out for some, like, cash? This guy deserved it. What he did when he was healthy for them, for Big Ben, Antonio Brown, that whole entire offense that was happening there, Le'Veon Bell was putting on a clinic, ladies and gentlemen. A fucking clinic. He would dance. Watching that guy get the ball was art. And I fucking hate the Steelers with a passion. Okay? I hate basically all Pittsburgh teams and Boston teams. That whole little side of your guys' country down there can fuck off. Okay? That being said, respectably, okay, Steelers had a great team back in the day with Big Ben, and especially when he had Antonio Brown, but they put them over the hump when they had Le'Veon Bell going off, man. That was fun. The pause in the gap and then find the hole. The slow before the pull. Everything about Le'Veon Bell was tactical, was slice and dice, man. The worst to describe this guy, like, he was immaculate at what he did. There are so many different types of running backs out there. And Christian McCaffrey was, is now like a big part of showing off kind of what he did back in the day. Le'Veon Bell is by far and beyond one of, the better running backs of our generation. The Frank Gores and the Adrian Petersons and the LTs and stuff. Le'Veon Bell's name deserves to be said up there with some of the greats. Now, injury, contract dispute, being on the Steelers, all that kind of stuff really faltered and put an end to what was a great run at being the best running back of all time. And he graced some other rosters. He graced the Bucs for a bit. I believe he graced the Raiders for a bit. But he never was the best running back after that in the league. He wasn't. He faltered. He fell off. It sucked. It really did. But also at the same time, too, like, what the small little sample size that we got from him is some of the best running back sample size we're ever going to see. Ever again. And I think people are starting to realize that. Because he was a special breed, man. That you cannot teach pause and patience in the hole like that anymore. Running backs want to get the hell out of there or get the hell through there. They don't wait. for the hole anymore. Josh Jacobs is really the only person that does that. And even he will admit that he's just right through. So who do you guys think? What do you think of the list? In order of inductees, Michael Vick, Deshaun Jackson, Phillip Rivers, Percy Harvin, and Le'Veon Bell. Those are the 5 names to the NSD Hall of Awesome first ballot inductees. What do you guys think? Good list? Good 5 people? Who would you have as your 5 first inductees to the Hall of Awesome? What defensive players should we start looking at here? And you got to remember, these are not Hall of Famers. Hall of Famers have the stats and the accolades and all that kind of. These are players that were special to us in our generations who may not played that much, may have been overshadowed by like the Brady era or the Peyton Mannings and stuff like that. Was on the wrong team. What players are we missing out here? Drop them in the comment section. Drop them into the poll that we're going to throw up on the NSD group, where we're going to have the NSD Hall of Awesome, and we'll start putting the poll in there, start saying who you guys think should be in there, and really get this thing going. Because to be honest with you, I like the idea that some of these players are having, where they're like, we should have 2 different types of Hall of Fames. And really, we should start doing it. And don't take it as an offense if you don't go to the Hall of Fame. There's a difference between being good for the sport that is being put out there for you. And I think that's what's more the Hall of Fame for. And then there's the difference of being putting out a show for your fans, and the fans loving you, and the fans showing you respect, and the fans being there to appreciate what you did for them at those times. So let's see what we got here. Kurt Warner for putting I think he is in the Hall of Fame, though. He deservingly deserves to go there. Will be a superstar. I actually agree with that too. I mean, I don't think he'll be Hall of Awesome. Might be Hall of Famer, but we'll see. This is a good one though. But I think he goes to the Hall of Fame. That's one where I'm not going to put him on this list until he does get to go for his vote, which will probably be in 4 years after this season for the Hall of Fame. So you have a good point, though, because if he doesn't go to the Hall of Fame in his first year, he's a first ballot inductee right off the bat into the Hall of Awesome if they're going to be stupid like that. So, all right. Thank you guys so much for being here. That is all the segments that we have for today. I've taken an hour and a half of your time. Not only that, you have blessed me with your views and our talks and our back and forths for this last hour and a half. And you guys are what make, whoa, look at that. Just like, typical, I dropped my marker. You guys are what make NSD go around. I am so happy to be back for season 5 of this. Remember, we're going to have some giveaways coming up this season. We'll pop in every week-ish if something is going on that Friday, or if I'm busy, because you got to remember, I got some kids. And right now, they got no school, no babysitters or nothing. And I can't just leave them outside like, what was allowed in my days and stuff like that. Where they were like, Andrew, go play. And then inevitably I got picked up by the cops because I broke into somewhere because no one told me I couldn't do that because it looked really fun to play in. Anyways, so thank you guys for being here. Much love from NSD. Drop a like, drop a comment. Let us know for all the different things that we had talking here today. We're going to be talking about it on NSD. I will clip this week, hopefully, possibly even today, to start dropping some of this into the group chats and into the groups so people can see what is going on here at NSD. Thank you all again. Much love. Thanks, Andrew, for giving me a show. I've been waiting for it. Buddy, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Honestly, thank you for all the tags that you gave and all the shares and stuff. And again, much love to all the people out there. So from up here in Canada, dying of heat. Okay, I live in Canada, guys. I'm not part of your American shit or your Bora Bora shit or Australia shit. Can I have my cold back, please? This is too hot. I don't like this. It's supposed to be fucking 33 on average for all week next week. I don't like it. My balls don't like it. None of it likes it. My dogs don't like it. My new fish aren't going to like it. I'm getting sharks, by the way. Anyways, much love from NSD. I'll talk to you guys later. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.